Boom shakalaka, what is going on everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's episode, I am going to be talking about Bitcoin's critical price breakout. Why what Bitcoin did today when it broke $9,500 is absolutely immense, and why it happened, what it means for Bitcoin, and what are some Bitcoin halving price predictions, what's going to be happening with the price coming up. So if you want to find out all that stuff, stay tuned for today's episode. What is up guys, Randall here. Today I am talking about the Bitcoin critical price breakout, why Bitcoin's move today is absolutely massive and what it means for Bitcoin. Now before I get into that guys, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. If you have hit the subscribe button and have not yet hit the bell, don't be a dummy. Hit that bell so you can find out when I post new videos. Now, guys, we have some crazy stuff going on with Bitcoin, okay? As you know, there is 4 days until the halving. In case you don't know what that means, 4 days until the Bitcoin block half reward is cut in half. The Bitcoin block reward is cut in half, where basically after a miner mines a block, it goes from 12.5 Bitcoin per block to 6.25 Bitcoin per block, essentially making it twice as expensive to mine Bitcoin. So, in that frenzy leading up to that, Bitcoin prices have shot up. Now, Bitcoin has been in this wedge pattern for the past 2 years now, 2.5 years now, since December of 2017. Now it would be 18, 19. Yeah, 2.5 years now. It's been in this wedge pattern. Well, guess what? Bitcoin has broken out of that wedge for the first time, broken through resistance at 9,300, broken through the top of this at 9,500. Now it has broken out of that, it has broken out of that wedge resistance for the first time since December of 2017. That is awesome news for Bitcoin. That means the price is likely to keep continuing upward. But that's not it, guys, because if we take a look at the volume profile, which is the number of buy and sell orders, if you take a look at this behind my head, you can see that the orders down here are a lot more massive than the orders up here, and that's going to continue to push the price upwards to this valley between 1,200 and 13.5, and then there's a little bit of a swell, but again, it's going to keep pushing it. All of that says, hey, it's going to keep pushing the price upwards, because in case you guys did not know, right now it costs roughly $7,000 to mine a Bitcoin. When the halving happens, it's going to cost double that. So, today in the news, big news in Bloomberg, Paul Tudor Jones buys Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Who's this guy, Paul Tudor Jones, and why should we care? Well, he's a huge hedge fund manager. He thinks it's important to buy Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, he says that Bitcoin right now is very reminiscent of gold in the 1970s. And for all of you who weren't around back then, like myself, here's what gold did in the 1970s. As a matter of fact, from 1971, went from $245 all the way up to 1979, went to $2,500, if we can get there, right there. $2,172. It 10x'd in the 1970s. You know why? Because the dollar had the Bretton Woods. Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. All of a sudden, gold became way more valuable. All of a sudden, hyperinflation dollars became way less valuable. Now, not everybody thinks the dollar is not that valuable. As a matter of fact, Warren Buffett is stockpiling $122 billion in cash right now. Okay, he usually has a lot of stocks. He has $122 billion in cash right now. However, with the Fed printing money, it makes you think that cash is devaluating at all-time records. So the Fed printed $6.5 trillion. That cash is becoming less and less valuable. Now, some of you are saying, I hear you. You're like, but Randall, Warren Buffett doesn't like Bitcoin. He doesn't own any Bitcoin. Well, that's right. Warren Buffett doesn't like stocks. And then I hear you, or doesn't like technology. And then I hear you guys saying, but Warren Buffett, he holds Apple. Guess what? Berkshire Hathaway didn't buy Apple until 2016, way after you would have made massive gains from Apple. So he is way behind when it comes to any technology. And Bitcoin is a technology that merges a fixed supply of something like gold with technology that makes it inherently valuable, especially when the Fed goes printing massive amounts of money. Now back to this thing about Paul Tudor Jones buying Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Other articles here on Bloomberg saying Bitcoin is staging a comeback reminiscent of the 2017 bubble frenzy. And this is what it starts to feel like, because in 2017, in the beginning of 2017, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies started to slowly inch upwards and slowly inch upwards until somewhere around October, November of 2017, when all of a sudden the frenzy happened. Well, the beginning of, or right around then in November of 2017, this guy, Mike Novogratz, said he had the Novogratz buy-in. He bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin for his hedge fund. Very reminiscent of what's happening right now, where Paul Tudor Jones is buying Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. We are, again, repeating what happened in 2017. Now, remember, there was a halving in 2016, but at that time, not nearly as many people knew about Bitcoin as the number of people know about Bitcoin now. Now people know about the halving. Now, potentially, we could see price increases. What type of price increases? Well, as of right now, pre-halving, we're 4 days pre-halving, remember that? As of right now, the break-even cost, according to TradeBlock, for mining one Bitcoin is $7,300. Now, that's the cost for the miners, for the electricity, for any staff, for the warehouses, for all that stuff, averaged out over everything. $7,300 break-even cost. Well, after the halving, that's right, in 4 days, the price is going to be $15,100. And that's going to be crazy, because all of a sudden the miners, it's going to cost twice as much to mine a Bitcoin. Now, granted, they're not mining one Bitcoin at a time. These are large-scale operations, huge warehouse operations. So you kind of have to average it over months. So if we take a look at things, February, March, April, it's around $7,300 to mine a Bitcoin. And guess what? The Bitcoin price was hovering around $7,300. But guess what? Coming May, in 4 days, Bitcoin price is going to cost $15,100. So if we average that over the past 3 months, that brings Bitcoin price to $9,867 on average. And if you look, Bitcoin price is right there, $9,886. It's almost uncanny how close it is on average of that. Well, guess what? Next month, average Bitcoin price for the past 3 months is going to be $12,433. Then after that, $15,100. So that could very well bring the price of Bitcoin to $15,000. But what do I think is going to happen? Well, honestly, I think this is a bit of a price run-up due to the halving coming. Everybody's talking about the halving. Everybody's talking about the price of Bitcoin soaring because of the halving. So this is a lot of people trying to stockpile as much Bitcoin as they can right before the halving. These are all the people who leave it to the very last moment. But what do I think is going to happen? Well, honestly, I think the price is going to go up pre-halving. And then right after the halving, I don't exactly know where the price is going to be. I don't think it's going to get to the $15,000 to $20,000 area, but I think it's going to break out of this triangle, and then after the halving come crashing back down as all the traders are selling the Bitcoin that they bought way down here at lows to make their money. Because remember, a lot of people are trading. There's not much volume in the overall Bitcoin market. So small trades affect the price largely. So I think the price is going to go up again outside of the wedge that we're in, but then fall back down. But then over the next 3 to 6 months, like we've seen in previous halvings, the next 6 months to a year, Bitcoin price is going to break through all-time highs as $20,000, reaching to new highs probably in the $100,000. Because again, remember, Bitcoin right now is like gold in the 1970s when they took gold off the dollar standard, and because of the whole Bretton Woods thing, when Nixon did that, all of a sudden gold was a lot more valuable, because all of a sudden they could print money. All fiat money goes to zero. At that point, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, there was nothing backing the US dollar. The dollar all of a sudden became debt. All of a sudden, it became worthless. Same thing is happening right now when the Fed is printing a ton of money. They're just printing more and more and more and more. They just mount the debt because it doesn't matter. There's nothing backing the dollar, but there is something backing Bitcoin. Okay? Proof of work. And guess what? There's a fixed supply of Bitcoin. So the actual price, the dollar price of Bitcoin, is going to go up and up and up and up because of that. So that is my answer for what is going on with Bitcoin before the price halving, where it's going, why it's going, how it's happening, exactly how it's happening, and the price prediction. And guys, now if you've watched this far, guess what? There's a prize for you who didn't end watching already. You can get Bitcoin at 50% off. As if it wasn't good enough to buy it pre-halving and get it for half off already, the Crypto.com syndicate you can get Bitcoin at 50% off. If you participate in that, you need to stake about $620 worth of Crow tokens, but then you can buy Bitcoin at 50% off. If you have questions about that, there will be a link down in the comments. You could also check out crypto.com syndicate. And then also, guys, with crypto.com right now, there are 0 fees on credit card transactions. So you can buy this stuff with 0 fees. Pretty crazy. Then you can hold your Bitcoin in the Celsius wallet. And guess what? You're getting 7.27% on interest, annual interest on your Bitcoin for holding it there, for just holding it in the Celsius wallet. Again, link down in the description. And lastly, if you want to get one of these kick-ass shirts and you want to be like one of these cool people up top here who's wearing one of these shirts, well, you could click on the link down in the comments and go buy one, or one of the many other shirts and mugs and all types of different stuff that I have here. So, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.